What is up, feather fluffers? This is Can Rant. We're just two cans with two cans who can rant because we got two cans. I'll get it right one of these times. I'm JD.
I thought it was two tall cans.
It's two. The script is two cans, but
all right,
two
and
tall cans adds a little bit weird alliteration. Like slightly inebriated people who have difficulties saying. Just gonna say, we gotta hear you say it sometime. You're doing the outro.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm Jeremy. I don't remember any of this shit. I'm gonna have to write that down on a piece of cardboard or something.
I got it on the Twitter. The Twitter thing.
The tweeter?
Yeah. Right there. It's kind of far away.
Yeah, what are we at? At 2rant? 2_rant.
Oh, interesting. I thought we had a Can Rant, not just two in can.
Well, I mean, you guys can search for Can Rant, and I'm sure you'll find us at 2rant.
2_rant.
Yeah. Nobody's found us yet, so stay tuned. I'll pick a fight with you. I'm cool with that. I love the haters.
But we got, there's our second tweet. Second tweet ever.
Oh, about to crack back a few cans and rant House of X and Powers of X. Yes, that is correct. Except for, we're doing two tall cans. That's kind of the thing.
All right.
Did we talk about the origins of this? Is that something we want to talk about right now, or no?
We never did an origin story.
Do we do it now, or do we save that for another time?
We'll probably bring it up a couple of times. We can start now.
Okay.
It all started this one night at a bonfire.
Yeah. And sometimes when people are talking about things that are depressing, the third member of the bonfire is like, fuck this.
Hashtag no pussies. Or what is it?
Hashtag bunch of pussies.
Hashtag bunch of pussies.
Yeah, she's big on that. So yeah, I got pissed off. Cracked two tall cans.
Slammed them both in 30 seconds.
Yep, one in each hand, and
there was no duct tape. It was kind of unfortunate.
Completely changed the whole life of the party. Instead of talking about death and the afterlife and everything else that you really want to talk about when you're drunk at a bonfire, we started talking about what the fuck I was doing, which was slamming two tall cans.
But we'll definitely be talking about some death and depressing stuff in comics at some point in time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean...
We'll make it lighthearted and fun.
Yeah, we're good at that.
Because we just like comics.
Pretty much. And yeah, that's kind of where it started. Then we started talking about, what... Because I went on a rant then about everything, and then it kind of snowballed from there. Anyway.
And because this motherfucker is so good at ranting, we decided we needed to have a podcast about comics, because that's the easiest thing to talk about. And when this dude gets fucking drunk, he doesn't shut up. Ever.
Yeah, I mean...
he's kind of like a toucan.
Yeah, if you listen to the first episode, hopefully I can rein it in a little bit. Not gonna lie, it's been an interesting evening for myself. We went to the Bookworm Gardens in the local area for a trick-or-treating thing for my kid dressed up as Pikachu. Pretty proud of that. Got him on the Pokemon train, even though I was like extremely anti-Pokemon in my day.
Catch them all, man.
I gotta tell you, man, I saved this. I did not bring this up. I showed you a small video of my kid doing the quote-unquote reverse worm. Don't know where he learned that. But if you heard in the background, there was almost like some gangster rap beats going on. I don't know if you noticed that at all.
I did not.
No. So there is something in the area. It is Dr. Seuss Raps. There is a guy. Yeah. You can kind of see why I brought this up after the fact.
He drops a fucking actual Dr. Seuss book.
So here's what he does. This guy, he drops a beat. Pretty cool beats, might I say. And he literally reads Dr. Seuss books in rap form. I heard The Cat in the Hat in rap.
Son of a bitch. That's awesome.
As well as The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. I gotta say, not exactly what I was expecting on Halloween.
New form of a Christmas classic.
Yeah, might I say,
is there a Dr. Seuss Halloween?
I don't think so. Like I said, this, just to preface this was a Halloween event. We walked around and we were doing, they got tons of people there. I was surprised at the turnout. But you walk around and the kids go around and they say trick or treat, and there's different candy stations and stuff. Cost us $5 to get in, which was well worth it just to hear the Dr. Seuss rap. We get to the end and we like hear this music going on. There's all these kids like dancing, which is cool because Kai loves dancing. Fog machine, lights, all this crazy shit. And I'm looking at a dude standing up there in a tall Seussian hat and a weird, like, overly long hoodie, like almost like down to his knees, but it was a hoodie. Kind of like Dr. Seuss clothes, I guess. It really took me back.
Dr. Seuss has a style of clothing?
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at like the Who's in Whoville, like it's kind of like an all one piece.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't really have, I mean, they have pants, but like
hopefully he was wearing pants.
Most of it is just like an all-in-one suit type thing.
That would be a very awkward situation at a kids event.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
a very
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Long ass hoodie, nothing underneath.
Yeah. No, well, I hope he had something underneath. It was fucking cold out there, man. I gotta say, I was freezing my ass off. But
yeah, we all hail from Wisconsin.
I mean, it's one of these things that the kids got into because like they're familiar with Dr. Seuss and they like dancing. Like I've never met a kid that doesn't like to get down. But the parents,
phrasing.
I saw a lot of parents bobbing their heads a little too hard to this shit. I just gotta say, like, I'm looking around and I'm like, I've always felt like a weird parent, like where I don't feel like I should be a parent. I still dress like I'm like 16. I'm not really all put together. My girlfriend,
but it's comfortable.
Yeah, my girlfriend describes it as like we don't have our shit quite together.
Jeans and a t-shirt is not having your shit together?
Dude, you would be surprised. These people were like dressed to the nines or dressed up in like fucking Halloween costumes. I honestly...
Dude, when you get to a certain age, you decide to just say fuck style and go comfort. Do you know how amazing it is to wear sweatpants?
Well, I mean, I got to that age at the age of like 18. I'm not going to... Well, no, let's go back further than that. Like 15, 16. I used to rock the Dickies and the t-shirts. I've since got into the jeans and t-shirts and a hoodie. Like, I'm good. But, like, these people, you know, they got their fucking puffy vests and they got their coffees and all this bullshit. And I'm just like...
Wishing that you had a tall can in your hand?
Yeah, I mean, they were bobbing.
Flask.
They were bobbing pretty hard, man. I'm not going to lie. But... it was a good time. I got to watch my kid do the reverse worm. I just had to drop that on you, Dr. Seuss raps. And I'll drop it on the rest of you folks, too. I mean...
thinking about it now, it kind of looks like he was trying to do a kip, but he just didn't know how to actually...
how
to start it up.
Yeah. I mean, maybe he was trying to kip. I don't know where he got it from.
Have you been watching Kung Fu movies?
Not recently, no. I'm not a big Kung Fu movie guy. Not going to lie.
No? I don't know. Kung Fu Hustle. That was a great movie.
Okay, well that...
I want to find more movies like that.
Yeah.
If anyone has suggestions.
Yeah, tweet them out.
Yeah.
At two rant. I don't know. We'll get back to that. Anyway, so we can dive in. I kind of wanted to bring something up because I order my comics online. You go to the... Oh, shit.
Stealing the cord on me now.
Sorry.
Tipping mics.
Yeah. All right, there we go. I order my comics online, so like I just go through everything. You go through the shop, you order what you want, / browse and see what they have on the racks. I look at price a lot on this website, and I've noticed an increasing amount. It's both DC and Marvel releasing these various issues, let's call them key issues, that might play into some sort of event, but like from long ago. Like I recently saw you could get the first issue of Swamp Thing for $1. I picked up a couple Uncanny X-Men that kind of tied into Emma Frost, Kitty Pryde, and Bishop, and some of the things going on in the topic we're going to talk about tonight. My question for you
the topic is House of X and Powers of X.
Thank you. I guess I kind of overshadowed that. I kind of wanted to talk about this re-releasing of old comics for cheap amounts of money. You know, how you kind of felt about that as a collector, as a reader, just as a general comics consumer.
Oh, that was a question for me.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about that?
I'm a big fan of finding stuff for $1. They're good reads.
That's it.
No, I got more. I have to actually sit and think of it a bit.
Okay, well, I mean, I can kind of rant on this for a little bit. I mean, I saw the original Swamp Thing for $1. It's kind of a cool thing. As a casual reader, for me, the X-Men thing kind of perked my interest more. They've done it for the past couple weeks. This is the first time I bit was, well, let's call it 2 weeks ago because fuck shipping on shit. But it was something that I kind of bit into because I was like, I like Kitty Pryde, I like Emma Frost, they're badass. They kind of drew me into X-Men, I don't know, probably like 5-6 years ago now. And it was kind of cool not having to spend a lot of money on a trade, which I have a problem with Marvel's trades, but that's a different topic. But B, just to pick up an issue and kind of be like, all right, this is kind of their origin story. It wasn't a lot. I didn't get to read the second one yet. I only read the Kitty Pryde and Emma Frost one. Is it a complete explanation of where they came from? No, but it kind of leads to some different background stuff going on with them, which I thought was kind of interesting as a reader of the House and Powers of X, as well as previous X-Men stuff. It's cool. I don't necessarily know that I would have went out and bought a trade of this, just for the simple fact that the art style is not my thing. And for me, art kind of plays an important role in the comics as to if I can read it or not. I like a lot of old school stuff. This was just a little too early for me to hop on board.
Yeah, some of the old art styles, they don't really match up to what we have now. Like House and Powers, like it's good art, it's gorgeous, it's phenomenal, but it's not really the art that I would pick up a book just based solely on art. That was one of the reasons with Sandman that it took me so long to actually get into it, because fucking the art was terrible. And when I pick up a manga, all I go off of is the art style.
See, and for me, I agree. I like that old school art style though. Like one of the big things for me was this recent Green Lantern reincarnation that Grant Morrison wrote.
But the coloring in it was modernized.
Yes, more vibrant, but like that's what I dig. And being a hardcore Swamp Thing fan, like I love Swamp Thing from the first issue on. I love that art style. I wish there was more of that. I know comics now, it's a lot more realism. It's a lot more
it's refined, crisp.
Exactly. And I
kind of seems manufactured from time to time.
I miss the older stuff. I mean, Art Germ is like a huge cover guy, right? I mean, we've all seen him.
But he's got a very pristine.
It's so realistic, you might ask. Did they take a picture of that? Or did they, it's, dude, like you said, it's refined and pristine. That's the best way you can put it.
There's only been like 2 statues that I've wanted to buy. One was like this really awesome anime cartoon-esque version of Boba Fett.
Oh.
Like, it was done by some Japanese guy. I can't actually find it. I saw it like walking around like some cubicle office in Decatur. But the other one was Art Germ's version of Supergirl. It just looks so fucking awesome. Like it was an actual comic image like that popped off the page.
Yeah. And honestly, like all art styles kind of have their place. I enjoy a lot of the new stuff. I honestly am really a big fan of when they got rid of those glossy pages I don't know, I have glasses. I don't know if that's what it is, but like the glare on the page of the glossy pages from like 5 years ago just fucking pissed me off. And when they went back, I don't know if stuff got better. Yeah, and this House and Powers, that's glossy too. I think it's more of a DC thing that I've noticed. Marvel's still all about them glossy pages, but DC went back to like more of a matte page finish. I really, really dig that. And the way they get those colors to pop, because you can go back.
Oh shit, is that why I like fucking manga better? Because you don't have a fucking glare on it?
It could be.
Shit.
It could be. I mean, you go back like 10, 20 years, they didn't have that glossy page to it. And there's something to be said. I know DC, a lot of their trades are not on that glossy paper. Not all. I mean, Sandman's a good example where it's still that glossy page. I'm coming from the Hellblazer world or the Swamp Thing world, Saga of Swamp Thing especially. I mean, we can all agree that's fucking baller. And if not, you should fucking, I don't know, figure out what the fuck is wrong with your life. But
it was terrible.
Fuck you.
No, it's the only Swamp Thing I've gotten. I haven't read it since you let me borrow it, but
yeah,
I do have it on my shelf.
Yeah, I mean that. Oh, you do?
Yeah.
You picked up all those? Oh, you did. That's right. You did. Yes. The
Alan Moore, right?
Yeah. You can't go wrong with Alan Moore. Anyway, even though he's kind of a dick about some different shit, i.e. the Watchmen thing, the new thing coming out.
But do you not think he has a right to actually be pissed about people using his characters in a way?
I do.
That goes against what he brought them out to be.
I do. I heard an interview today with Regina King, I believe. She is one of the characters in the new Watchmen series on HBO, and she was talking about how Dave Gibbons actually is standing behind this. Like who's
Gibbons?
He's the guy who drew it, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Right? I believe it was Moore and Gibbons. Don't quote me on that.
Did they co-create it? His facial expression says he doesn't know, but he thinks so. But he doesn't have an actual answer.
I don't know. I honestly think he just drew it. I don't know if he had any creator thing. You're more of a Watchmen guy than me. It took you a long time to get me to read that, and I was just like, fuck.
No, it didn't take me a long time. It took you a long time to just be like, I gotta read this now.
Yeah, it really did.
It all came from Doomsday Clock.
Yeah, and I actually understand his being pissed off about Doomsday Clock more than this watch. Well, in the movie, I don't know. Looking back, I haven't rewatched the movie, but like, I think the graphic novel was a lot better than the movie, and I think Alan Moore.
I like the movie's ending a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Having it deviate from being some random space alien, which fits into the context of the comic, but it was a very jarring sort of situation when I was reading, like, oh fuck, there are aliens in this now for some reason. Like, okay, nothing that was built up for that, but the movie's like, you know what, we're gonna use all the cards that we've been playing with this entire time, and now it's gonna be Dr. Manhattan is the threat, which had been the threat the entire time, even in the comics. Like, the U.S. has fucking God on their team, and he's the one that's going to cause the problem, and we need to rally together to defeat this big cause. And even America understood, like, oh yeah, shit, this guy lives here, but he isn't actually for us. He's a superpowered entity that could blink and destroy us all. Plus, he's walking around naked the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, there's that.
And I'm pretty sure that's against the law in multiple countries.
Yeah, anyway, in that vein, I get his point that reading it, seeing it, it is tough to capture that essence. I think the big thing with this HBO show is, from what I've heard, it's a reimagining, or not a reimagining. It was an extrapolation upon the original comics. So what that means, I guess, remains to be seen. If you're a critic, you've probably already seen from what I've heard, up to 6 episodes. I know they're sending out like 2-episode things to different people that are interviewing these people. If you're one of those lucky people, good for you. I probably won't get to see it until it's some other thing other than HBO. I'm not gonna fucking spring for cable personally. Cut the cord.
Can you get it with Amazon Prime? You can put it on a little add-on.
Could be
for like a month.
Could
or
be.
A week
Could be.
binge it.
Could be. Yeah.
I'm
Well,
pretty
I'll have to wait
Oh.
till the end and then
'cause
binge
it's
it
just-
all.
It's just a 2-week drop.
I don't know.
Or
I think it's an HBO thing, so my guess is it's going to be weekly.
weekly?
Yeah. From what I understood, I believe it's HBO. Anyway,
Yeah, that's definitely HBO.
point made. I mean, that's that. Going back to the art style that we were talking about, like, to me, that type of shit, it's like heyday, man. Like, that's the type of shit I want to see. This new stuff is great. It's cool. It's shiny. It's refined. It's all great. I like that old school. And maybe it's my age. Maybe it's what I grew up on. Maybe it's probably a lot of other shit. But I dig that feeling, man.
I don't know. I'm a big fan of like the extremely cartoony but stylistic. So like this stuff, like, it looks nice. And like it would be cool to draw in that style, but it doesn't seem to have its own essence.
And by this, what do you mean? Are we gonna start getting into House and Powers a little bit here? Is that what we want to talk about? We want to talk. Or are you just talking about new comics?
No, I was just talking art. Like this art.
Art of what?
Like
the newer style of comics?
Newer
or you?
style.
I mean, for those, this is a listening medium. He's staring at a copy of Powers of X #6.
And the reason I kept this cover of 6 was just because of the color scheme up top.
It is nice. We got Moira, correct? Standing on a bunch of dead.
All the X-Men, Sabretooth,
Yep.
Mystique, Cyclops, who was very absent in this issue. In like the last couple issues.
Mystique?
No, Cyclops.
Yeah.
Like, Wolverine showed up and he was doing stuff.
Yeah, in Powers, yeah. Yeah, he wasn't. Cyclops wasn't really in House 6 either.
Well, he gave beer to somebody.
Okay, my bad. That's important. As a
Oh, no, that
podcast fueled by beer, tonight's Tall Cans brought to you by the High Life. We're living the high life.
Some grenades of Mickey's.
Oh yeah, we got the Mickey's hand grenades too. I should probably go get some more of them, but we're rocking a couple different things here.
No liquor yet. You
Well-
will definitely hear an audio difference.
Well, I don't
once
know.
we mix in some liquor.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which isn't tonight, but sometime.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I indulged a little bit before.
So then maybe,
We had some.
dear listener, you can hear the audio difference.
We had some whiskey, and this is gonna surprise you. I had a little bit of tequila.
What?
Oh yeah. So
Damn, living dangerously.
picked up some white tequila. That's what I find I like the best. Anyway, I could get crazy. We got the bang too. I might
White
get a little
tequila.
aggressive. Oh yeah. I dig the clear more than the brown. But this is not an alcohol podcast. Just fueled by it. All right, so let's get. So we talked about the art. Let's talk about the art of House and Powers. Let's talk about it. Throughout it, I gotta say, personally.
It's gorgeous.
Well, let me back up here. So did you pick up all the previous issues today
No.
when you went? No, you
I just
didn't.
got 6.
Okay, so I gotta say, I am a huge fan, and I know you are as well, of Scotty Young. Dude's
Right.
fucking amazing. Really regretting not standing in line at C2E2 to get that fucking shit signed.
We can go this year. And
Yeah.
stand there because he's gonna be there this year.
Yeah.
He hails from fucking Chicago. I didn't realize that.
All right. Well, anyway, I went with the all variant Scotty Young covers. I fucking love them. That is the cartoony shit that I like. And some people might say, well, it's kind of childish. I agree, but I fucking love it. It brings me back. I fucking love that shit. When he did Rocket Raccoon
And Fuck Fairyland.
Fuck Fairyland.
And then the PG version, I Hate Fairyland.
Well,
Dude, I love that so much that when you go to a comic shop, they got it already bagged and boarded for you, and then they have the little sticker over the fuck part.
Oh, it's just over the U. You can see the F, the C, the K, but there's a small red dot over the U. And I'm not going to lie. There's a lot of times the pre-bags and board, like, I'll fucking swap it out for a new bag and board, but I'm like, this is too good to re-bag and board. Anyway.
No, so, like, that's a thing that is kind of vexing in, like, the main two stories, like, they're writing. They always have the fucking symbols, the pound sign, the asterisk, the dollar sign, the exclamation mark. They're like, oh, we're swearing, but we're cool. We won't actually show the swear words when they've got an image of fucking Wolverine stabbing Moira.
That's a valid point. I mean, now we're really getting into the spoilers. Spoiler alert: if you have not read Powers of X #6, we're a little behind.
We gotta do spoilers?
I think so.
Dude, this thing is like a week old.
I know. You guys out there on the internet web land, you probably are like, yeah, fuck you.
On the web land.
Yeah. But I'll still say spoilers. I mean, you gotta question it. It is a teen rated, right? I mean, it's a mature title. I don't know how the ratings work on here. What is it?
Rated teen plus.
Teen plus, okay.
In fucking PG-13 movies, you're allowed to have one fuck F-bomb.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. And
so each issue should always have an F-bomb.
And I'm not gonna
uncensored.
I'm not gonna lie. I did not notice your point until just now, where there's extreme violence, but they're still editing out shit.
Yeah,
it's insane.
No, it's same with movies. You can like show gratuitous fucking death scenes in an R-rated movie, but you can only show like a couple seconds of a side boob.
Which every 13-year-old's like, oh.
Yeah, well, no, that's like the best part of those movies when you're younger. But like, why can you show like people getting decapitated? Like, you have an entire franchise called Saw where it's just gore porn. And that's totally okay for the censors, but you show two people having a romantic, passionate sex scene, and you see some naughty bits, and that's rated X or NCR 17, whatever the rating is above that.
NC-17?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's PG-13 R, then NC-17. Has there even been an NC-17 movie recently? I don't know.
In theaters?
Yeah.
I would say never. I forgot to do that with mine.
Oh, you're good. Anyway, so the art in House of Powers, I mean, we talked about the covers a little bit. They're beautiful.
No, I'm disappointed that I didn't jump on the Scooty Young fucking cover thing. I went on Midtown and I was scoping out to see if I could get them, and they weren't there. So I'm guessing I'd have to pay a pretty penny to actually get them at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, you can search the internet. I'm sure you could find them. I mean, it's a cover. It is what it is. All the covers,
fucking awesome covers.
All the covers, all the variants, the originals, the variants, they're all fucking beautiful. I gotta say, they really went above and beyond. The fact that there are, I want to say 6, 7, 8, don't quote me on that, different variants for each of these issues. Every issue, we're talking 12 fucking issues here, and they're running 6, 7, 8 variants for each one is amazing. Clearly, Marvel really believed in Hickman and the impact of this. The art inside the book, I feel, does not disappoint or detract from anything going on. How do you feel about that?
Oh, no, the art's totally cool. I'm just saying that it's kind of like a cookie cutter. It's just exactly what you would expect. It's gorgeous.
Exactly.
It doesn't detract from the story. I mean, it encapsulates the story, its essence, well enough.
Exactly.
But when I was saying like the kind of art style that I like, it doesn't have that same like holy fuck, I'm gonna pick this book up just because of the art style.
Exactly.
This the only reason I picked it up was like, well, because you were reading it, and so we'd have something to talk about. But like, and you said it was good, and your word is definitely what I invest a lot of my stock in. But then everybody else was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And so it just added weight to what you were saying.
So, I mean, based on what I'm saying and the weight that you put into what I say, how do you feel about X-Force? Just saying.
I'm going to say it has a better story than this does.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is bullshit, man. I got to the end of fucking 6, and you probably saw me, cause so Jeremy here, he started reading this before I did, and he was gonna be a little bit salty if I read Powers of X number 6 before he did. So we both got 2 copies of it, and we sat across from each other in our whole little setup thing here. I was drinking. He was already drunk. I was trying to like catch up, which now, knowing that you were drinking liquor, is not gonna happen in the slightest. But yeah, we were reading it. I finished it a wee bit before he did, and like the fact that I got to the end of this, and I know you saw it, man. Like I got to the end, and I just started like flipping through the last 10 fucking pages
of ads
of like nothing.
Yeah.
It's the quote. Well, the end is like, okay, Magneto and Professor Xavier are staring up at all the X-Men flying off to get their bone on, because this is definitely an orgy, just so you know. That's what's gonna happen in the interlude. Then it's a Spider-Man ad. Then it's the nice quote thing at the end.
Wait, back up. Spider-Man ad? Yep, you're right. For a statue. Yep.
Which is a pretty cool statue, not gonna lie.
I can
Carnage
pass
is
on
cooler.
it. Yeah.
Then it's Magneto quote.
Yep.
I'm not ashamed of what I am, which is very fucking cutting for this book, because that's the essence of what this is, of why I'm pissed at it. Because all this is just an ad. This entire 6-part or 12-part mini-series was just an ad for... I don't know if it's an ad. I won't say it's an ad, because that would detract from what it actually was. It was a good story, but like nothing really happened.
For the 6 new books coming out.
Yeah.
Right?
For the 6 new books. And then it's X-Men number 1, Marauders, Excalibur, X-Force, New Mutants, Fallen Angels. And then it's an X of something.
Okay, well...
Stan Soapbox, which I think they should have more. They should just re-fucking print these, because they have to have an entire back catalog of these, right? I think this is the same one that...
Yeah, maybe they should just make a whole trade of it. Stan's Soapbox.
That would be pretty cool. Actually.
I honestly like a lot of those ads. Personally, I think it's better than an ad for some of the fucking bullshit.
And then the Young Guns, which...
One of the page turns... I'm sorry to interrupt. One of the page turns is... I'm a gecko. Geico. Fucking... Why are you fucking advertising to me? Why is Geico even in this fucking comic book?
You have a car. You got a car, right?
I do. How many fucking people buying comic? Well, all right.
Have you been to a comic shop recently?
It's a wide variety of people, but seriously, man.
Nah, man.
Seriously, man.
Demographic is like dudes in their 30s.
Oh, I'm sorry. Happy Geico-ween. Thank you for opening that page up to me. Really? That's what I need? Happy Geico-ween? Fuck you, Geico. Get out of my comic book.
This is a better art style, though.
Although fucking DC is not much better with their fucking Snickers fucking ads. 2-page fucking ads for Snickers.
Have you read one ever?
No.
Yeah, neither have I. I mean, shit looks cool. I'm like, oh, cool. When I'm reading a comic, I actually would prefer that the advertisements were in comic form. It's the same thing when you're listening to Pandora. When the ads are musical, you're kind of like sort of disassociated with it, but then you don't really realize it's an ad, and you kind of like go with it. But yeah, I don't want a commercial break in a fucking book that I've been reading.
Not even if it's in comic form? I mean, Batman's acting like a bitch, and then he eats his Snickers, and he's like, oh, I'm not a bitch anymore.
If they took a page from fucking, like, independent stuff, like, I recently just read Something is Killing the Children.
Okay.
There are ads in it, but it's
really?
the last 3 pages.
Yes. All the indie shit. Let's fucking get this out on the table right now. Marvel, DC, take a page from your indie fucking companies and put the ads at the end. I understand you need advertisements. I get it. But, like, you are ruining page turns. Ruining! The fucking guy...
There goes a microphone, folks.
The fucking Geico-ween. Happy Geico-ween. Fuck you!
Dude,
that is not what I needed right now.
At this point in time, though, I'm just so desensitized to like some of these ads. Like,
yeah,
like I see like, oh, there's an ad, and I just don't even take it in. Like, I just imagine that page is a blank.
Yeah, I mean,
and I'm like, all right, next page.
And clearly they're trying to suck you in, because a lot of those ads in between are in comic book format.
I've never been tricked by one, though.
Oh, I have.
Yeah.
I was just gonna bring that up. No. This was when I want to say Harley Davidson was doing something with Marvel, and this is a while back. And you're gonna be like, "What? Harley Davidson?" No.
Oh,
This was across like Guardians, X-Men. Those were like the 2 big books from Marvel that I was reading. Pretty much the only 2. Like, they had this fucking Harley Davidson thing. I want to say it was that. It could have been something else. I don't know. But, like, I'm reading, right? I'm going. And all of a sudden I go to the next page and I'm reading, like, the first 3 panels. I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And then I look at the bottom, like, oh, fucking ad. Fucking ad. You get so, like... I'm sure you do this as well. Like, you want to try to take in each panel without like taking in the full page, unless it's a full page spread. You know, that turn page where it's just like,
oh yeah,
2 page spread,
which is something we'll have to talk about in something.
Yeah,
in Something is Killing the Children, which for next week you should read.
I can definitely do that. My friend.
Issues.
Yeah, I mean, I can get caught up on that pretty quick. It's just.
Unless you read trash.
Well, I do like hot garbage. So I mean, let's get back to House and Powers.
This is an actual terrible fucking page turn. That's the only ad after I wasn't counting. That's got to be at least 15 pages, right?
Yeah, at least.
All right, and so you're saying you really like these fucking little story extracts from it. If you haven't read this issue or any of the other issues, like, you have a lot of comic stuff going on, but occasionally Hickman will just decide to drop an exposition splurge on you, which is an entire page of words that kind of correlates to what's going on.
I think it extremely correlates to what's going on.
Well, yeah, it does.
I mean, it's not like they're like X-Men, Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, it fits into what's going on, in my opinion.
But if I wanted to read a book, I would just fucking pick up a book. I want a comic. I want images with words.
Here's what I want to say. One of the things that you complain about a lot is movies and all their exposition and trying to build this backstory into a book.
And it is what they're doing right here.
It is rampant in comic book movies, right? I mean, shitty movies, you're never going to hear about it because nobody's going to give it the time of day and they're going to fucking rip it apart. Comic book movies are a little bit different. Their fan base, I feel, is a little bit more forgiving. This stuff I personally like because... Let's face it. Number one, you got Jonathan Hickman. Okay, I want to address this point right here. My opinion, great writer. I personally really like his shit. He's got a pretty good track record.
What else does he do?
East to West.
Oh yeah, I read that.
I have not read that.
You should probably pick it up.
Yeah. He's written some stuff that I've read. I can't think of it off the top of my head. We got a Google machine. I'm not going to do it right now. At any rate, I like. So here's the thing. He basically came into Marvel and was like, we're fucking shutting everything X-Men down. And I will say this. You cannot say this. I have read X-Men. I read it up to a certain point. I fell off before.
X-Force was my first. No, I read a bit of Grant Morrison's X-Men run. That was my first exposure to X-Men.
And that was before I had gotten into it. I probably came in, I don't know, 2012, 13, something like that. Probably longer than that. I don't exactly know. He came in and said, look, here's the deal. We're fucking shutting everything down. We're rebooting this. And if you listen to anybody else's podcast or the internet or anything, like, X-Men got fucking shitty. Like, really shitty.
Like X-Force shitty. Bazinga! His face is just perplexed. He's trying to come up with an argument, a nice retort to the, he ain't got shit.
X-Force is so bad, it's good. It's like the shitty fucking horror movies that you watch that are fucking bad but funny. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I fucking love that book. It's fucking funny. I am not one of those people that is so tied to a character's lore or history. Like, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. If it's a good story or it makes me laugh or it keeps me entertained, I'm good. Like, I'm not that hardcore fucking person like a lot of people are.
So you still want your gay Batman and your gay Superman?
I stand by that. I think it'd be funny. I think Batman and Superman have a hard
That
on
is the
for
wedding
each
we
other.
actually need. Fuck this bat cat shit. We need soups and bats to get together.
I think that's why he turned her down.
Jesus.
And if you want to fucking fight me on that one, you know where to find us.
Oh, fuck. It all makes sense now. You didn't read the preludes to the wedding shit yet, have you?
No, I haven't. I finally got my Batman, the real Batman #1, Tom King run. I got that one that I bought us that one time that I got in a good deal and realized it wasn't the actual #1. It was just Rebirth #1. And then there's actually Batman #1, which was like, what the fuck?
Do you know if they did Rebirth #1s for like every one of their titles that they were doing?
I don't know.
That was weird.
I don't know. Like, there was a weird time where I fell off of like buying floppies because my local, I'm not going to call it a comic shop because he sold more games, but like he sold comic books and he could get me whatever I wanted, even if he wasn't going to bring it in, which was nice. But clearly he was losing money on it. Like, people didn't pick up his books. He's like, I'm really sorry. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm going to stop selling comic books. I'm like, all right, that's cool. He's like, no, it's not. He's like, you're the one guy out of everybody that subscribes and picks up your books weekly and sometimes comes in before they come in and then comes back the next day to pick them up. I was like, yeah, but I mean, you got to make money. Like, I don't want you to go out of business because I personally am a nerd to the max. And I'm like, well, I need like your Warhammer stuff and like Magic or, whatever I'm possibly doing that week because I change a lot. But like, I'm like, I don't want you to go out of business. But there were people who stuck him with a lot of books. I personally reaped those benefits. He let me go through a lot of people's boxes and like pick out stuff for half price, which is amazing. Picked up a lot of shit that I normally wouldn't have. Punk Rock Jesus, like just different shit like that, which was super fucking cool. Anyway, long story short, like,
have you thought about getting into that I don't remember what it's called. It was going to be a Vertigo book where Jesus has a roommate and it's like the Superman kind of guy, but Starman or Sunman.
Yeah,
Mr. Hale's the sun.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard about it. I don't know. I'm like trying to trim down on bullshit. And like I'm kind of worried about this X-Men thing. I know. You're really hard on this. Yeah. I gotta say, you're really fucking hard on this. You did not enjoy. Let's look like, all right, you're disappointed in Powers of X #6. I gotta say, there was a lot of fucking hype for just setting up for the next stuff. I personally was not surprised. But you're telling me you didn't purchase any of it. I purchased all of them, all 11. You purchased the 12th one. Well, and that's fine. That's fine. You know, we share. I'm good with that. You're telling me you didn't enjoy that ride up to number 12.
No, I did enjoy it. It was well written. Even the exposition dumps were cool. Even though that, like...
What about Gold Balls?
I don't know nothing about Gold Balls.
See, that was cool to me. Like, this whole reincarnation thing was pretty fucking cool. Because, I mean, Gold Balls doesn't do shit in the fucking comics. At least from what I read. Maybe he has in the way past. My X-Men's kind of limited. I'm not going to lie. I dug this, though. I dug the buildup of it. Moira is a character I've just recently read that...
You never read her before?
Supposedly, no, she never popped up in any of that shit. I read she's gonna get her own book. Well, no. In this book?
No, like in like the history of X-Men. Isn't that like what the entire point of her like multiple lives was? Like these are the iterations of her that have shown up. Like one
she
time
was not a major character, and they brought her to the forefront.
Character. Yeah, now she's a major character, but. She has all her iterations of her past life that you go through, and I assume that each one of those iterations had been actual storylines that had occurred in the X-Men universe.
Maybe they did. Maybe I haven't read enough.
Those are all variations of continuity.
Maybe I haven't read enough. You know, my X-Men is limited. Let's put it this way. Like, this is becoming less and less about the actual issues, but like my background, like I loved X-Men as a kid. I watched the cartoon, right? That was my exposure to X-Men. The movies started coming out when I was younger.
That's the first time I got into them.
I read comics. I like reading a lot in general, but I read comics, but it was a lot of Star Wars stuff. I wasn't into the superhero stuff until later on, and actually you got me into a lot of that stuff.
I got you into superhero stuff?
Yeah. I mean, like, my comic stuff in the beginning, other than Swamp Thing, I fucking love Swamp Thing. I remember watching the fucking show with my mom when I was a kid. And I'm sure it was bad. I haven't rewatched. Well, I take that back. There was a Swamp Thing cartoon which we recently watched time.
Which has the best fucking intro song ever.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. You want to sing more of it? You're the singer here. No. Come on. That's my girlfriend in the background chipping in. But it was bad. Like, I remember it was such fond memories. I loved it. Fucking loved it. And the TV show, I remember watching the actual TV show with my mom. I have not sprung for it on Amazon yet, buying the seasons of it, but you know, at some point I will, I'm sure. And you can just throw those up here.
Yeah, we got a photo op going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so my superhero stuff.
How did I get you into superheroes? I have not read, like, I just recently got into superhero shit. With Batman. With Batman Metal. That was, like, the first legit...
Okay, let me put it this way. You got me back into comics. Backstory, I got into some fucking shit. Not good life choices. Let's just leave it at that. And I changed my life and was looking for things to do. And I always loved reading as a kid. I read a lot. And after, like, high school, college, I just didn't do it a lot. And something brought me back. And I was in a hobby store one day. They had our Chimera and Fond du Lac. And I was just like, I'm going to buy comic books. I saw Swamp Thing. I knew who Swamp Thing was. I had experienced it as a kid. And I bought everything.
Epic TV show cartoon?
Yeah, and I bought everything I could. And this is New 52 Days. You know, I missed a lot of shit. I missed all the good shit. Now, I'm going to preface this by I went back and got that good shit. The Alan Moore, the fucking Frank Miller. Like, I have everything Swamp Thing that I can get in trade paperback right now. I have the complete New 52 run. I am working on building up everything between the end of the trades and the New 52. Just saying. Got to preface that. Get me a little bit of street cred here. Because, like...
Gotta have that shit.
That was, like... Shit. I don't know, 2008, 2009? Like, I don't even know... No, it's later than that. Let's say 2011, 12. And you had brought up to me, I don't know what it was, but you're like, you read comics? And I'm like, no, I don't. And you're like, no, you read a lot of comics. Like, you read a lot of Star Wars comics. You gave me all of your Star Wars comics at one time. And maybe? No, I don't know. You had a lot of the Star Wars comics I had as a kid.
Of like Rogue One stuff.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but you were like...
Rogue One was my jam, man.
You were helping me through some pretty hard shit, and you're like, you should start reading comics, manga. I was a subscriber to Shonen Jump, and like to go from there to some of the other stuff, I know you're like a hard... core, what do you call them? Eastern comics, manga. What are they?
Usually just manga.
Manga. Okay.
You could say otaku.
Yeah, you're hardcore on that. I jump back into the Western comics. I really will sick.
I just got the new One Punch Man.
Fuck, dude. See, and that's what I was just gonna say. Like, you definitely got me back into the fucking manga shit.
I almost didn't want to come here because I wanted to read it.
Yeah, I mean, like, I bought some fucked up, like, Tuxedo Jin. He's a fucking penguin, like, manga. Like, I enjoyed a lot of that stuff in our younger days, and I was in a rough spot, and that's where I got back into it. And I bought a shit ton of Swamp Thing, was like really touting the anti-DC fucking shit, even though I was reading a shit ton of Vertigo stuff, and like somehow I got back into X-Men. And like I said,
well, it is a good comic.
Let's call it 2013, 2014. I don't know what it was. What are we in, 2019 now?
Yeah, for a couple more months.
So if you want to call me out, I have not read an extremely long backlog. Fair enough. But like, I thought this story was pretty fucking cool, and it definitely lays down some groundwork for the bigger stuff. So I personally enjoyed a lot of those interludes where they're explaining what exactly all this stuff is, because it's been established in older lore, and I'd have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to go back, or the $60 a year on the Marvel app, which I am such a Luddite. Is what it is. I apologize, people. I hate the fucking internet.
Yet here you are, casting your voice out on the internet. I gotta pee. That took you a real long time. So did we actually talk about everything you wanted with Powers and House?
No. So we talked about you do not like the little interludes where you're reading a book. That's fine. I personally think it's great that they fucking get that shit, reestablish it, and kind of explain the groundwork to any new readers, which I'm surprised that you did not enjoy that, because you are not an X-Men dude.
Are you talking about the little blurbs in there?
Yeah, the 1, 2, 3 page spreads sometimes.
Well, no. See, the thing is, I did like them. I did like the information drop. But I also have this... it's a comic book. If I wanted to read a fucking book, I would go pick up a book. The point of a comic is to convey the story through the medium.
So even though that these are oversized issues, all of them have been oversized issues, which I've fucking enjoyed. You disagree with that input?
I think, like, so for example, Moira's journals would have been better served.
We're talking Power 6.
Power 6, yeah. Well, those interludes happened in a lot of different ones.
Oh, yeah. Every
if
issue has interludes.
They're called interludes?
Let's call them that.
Okay.
Let's put it this way, folks. Words, no pictures. Just explaining what
I would go
you
exposition.
possibly just read.
Well, considering that they're oversized issues and a lot of, at least, Power 6 was recap of shit that had already happened.
I disagree.
Like the first 1,
Exactly.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages were...
But the majority of this comic, and I know Moira was a side character, and there's a lot of people getting pissed that she is now a main thing, is about her reliving these lives, right? So that, I mean, in one of the spreads, it explains...
I don't need to relive her life.
Okay. Fair enough. I personally found it really interesting. With everything that is going on and them trying to establish this thing. Because that is like a huge, and maybe it's lack of background.
You didn't actually let me finish on what I thought.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
So, would it not have been better to actually see Moira's journals in visual form? Like, imagine how much cooler it would have been to see her entry number 5 regarding Xavier. At least, like, a panel or two.
I disagree.
Talking about stuff. And then the second entry, which is all redacted, it would have just been, like, pictures of her and him talking, but it would have been blurred out.
And I think you have a great idea for something, but you're now talking about a book that is, I don't know how many pages, let's double it with all that extra shit. Like, I honestly think...
This is 3 pages.
This is
3 pages and an ad that they could have turned into fucking actual pictures.
But I'm saying that could have been... That could have turned into like 6-8 pages with pictures.
Well, then they could have dropped the first 5 pages of this one where it's... exactly what happened. Okay, it's a little bit different because you actually see Xavier walking happy. You got the midget, the circus.
So you're pissed about the fact that they're repeating stuff from the previous issues, which
6 pages.
It's not like they did that every fucking issue.
But I'm saying in this one, they are.
In that one. But let's look at it as an over arc. Like, we're talking about a fucking thing that is 12 issues long, a run that is 12 issues long, reestablishing the fucking X-Men, right? Like, Hickman's like, fuck you, Marvel, cancel all your shit, we are going to reboot this.
But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about specifically their pages being exposition dumps as opposed to actually integrating it. I mean, it is integrated with the concept because they're like audio logs, I guess you would say. And there are pictures in it, like this Branching Humanity one from Power 6. Like, sure, it's pictorial and it has words. But there were other ones, like, I think even in this, no, in 6 of the other one.
House.
Yeah, they're talking about strongholds and dominions.
Yeah.
And like, all right, cool. I mean, it's totally cool. I totally love the concept that they're going for with there are these entities out there and they're not what you think. They're actual black holes. They're these intellects that have gone around and have collapsed upon themselves, and now they have transcended what mere mortals think of as normal existence and have become something much greater. And, like, it's totally cool. I dig the sci-fi thing. And I dig the explanation that he's going, but he could have shown like a fucking picture. He could have had those words over the image of a black hole.
I agree. They are fairly plain. I personally did not get so stuck on the concept that a comic book is strictly an imagery thing.
How now? That is what a comic is.
Yeah, I get
Like,
that.
that's
I get
comics
that.
Are
I get
words
that.
with pictures.
But if you look at it like from like, I feel like you're getting really stuck on the issue that we just read. If you look at it as like an overall arcing thing.
No, I see the theme in it. I also think that there should have been pictures to all those fucking word dumps. Or he should have integrated it better into the story. Because who said that it had to be 6 issues and 6 issues? He did. He dictated it by writing it that way.
Well, and
he could have integrated the things better so he didn't have to dump 3 pages of his thoughts in exposition and could have integrated it better.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to say. In the House and Powers of X, we're talking 12 issues. They originally said you could read in the beginning, I heard, if you just want to get House, you'll get it. If you just want to get Powers, you'll get it. I personally disagree. This is my one dig on the whole series is towards the end, House and Powers, like House was supposed to be modern day X-Men. Like this is what Xavier's doing. He's rebuilding this mutant society, let's say that, in Krakoa, right? Excuse me. Towards the end, Krakoa, however you want to say it, I don't care.
Krakoa.
I was thinking Krakoa, but
Krakoa.
Regardless, so like in the beginning, Powers was all about the future, right? You have all this shit going on in the future, and I want to say by issue 3, 4, House and Powers was very integral with each other, and this last issue of Powers, which was supposed to be the future of the X-Men, is all about the modern day X-Men. So I really have no idea how you could read one but not the other and get it. Would you not disagree? And that is a dig. Like, I'm kind of pissed about that.
Well, no, that's what I'm wondering about how the trades are going to be. Like, are they going to drop a trade of just House and a trade of just Powers, and you got to flip back and forth between them?
To me, you'd have to drop it all at once. And that is something you did not buy them. I bought them week by week. So as they came, I read them. So they were right in order. And there were times I handed you a stack and like, hey,
I had to go look.
Yeah, I don't know. List. I don't know what the reading list is, but look at the last couple pages and you will see what you were supposed to read them in. And it's very, very fucking important you do that. And that's where I'm like, that is not how you advertise this originally, Marvel.
They advertised it as they were their own separate entities.
They advertised it as if you want to read, if you can't afford. They didn't say afford. All right. Let's throw it on the table. I do a lot of my shit off of CBR.
Affordability.
I do off my shit on CBR, and from what I read, leading up to the release of House number 1 was like, you don't necessarily need to get both. But reading it, if you don't have both, you have no fucking clue what's going on. Especially Powers number 6. This all was in the realm of House. House was modern day, Powers was future. I would say that was true for the first 2 issues solid. 3rd issue, it started blending. My opinion.
Yeah. I'd agree.
And that is a major dig. Now, so I took a dig. I'm going to take a plus. I liked that every week. Well, okay. I loved and hated it. One, I loved every week there was a new comic coming out, right?
Well, that's what you're going to be getting now.
And it fucking stuck with me, even though I was like a week and a half to 2 weeks behind because of my shipping bullshit. But let's throw that aside. I knew what was going on. It's not like I'm reading Doomsday Clock's a bad example, but like, let's say Justice League Dark, right? Once a month.
Yeah.
There are times where I'm like, fuck, I don't even know what's going on. I'm going to go on this ride and see what I remember.
Well, no, that's...
And honestly, sometimes I feel like I've been told I have a good memory. And I feel like I don't remember shit when I read these comic books.
Because you're reading them drunk.
No, that's not true. Recently, maybe, but like previously, no, that's not true. And, you know, we'll probably delve into it in another day, but like we both hated Witching Hour the first time it came out.
For sure.
Justice League Dark, Witching Hour. We were like, what the fuck? This is fucking dumb. You fucking go back and read that as a solid, like, 1 through, what'd we get to, 10, 12, something like that?
Wasn't that coming out weekly, though?
No.
I thought it was.
That was a monthly.
No, well, Justice League Dark was, but it was like Justice League Dark, Wonder Woman, or it was Witching Hour, Wonder Woman, Justice League. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No.
Do we need to go to the internet to confirm? I'm pretty sure it was a weekly event. It was all throughout.
Wonder Woman was monthly too, though.
Right, but
so you still had a lot of shit in between.
No, but the Witching Hour was released on a weekly schedule.
I disagree.
All right, folks. Do we do a cut?
Not right now. I'm on something else right now. We are here to talk about House and Powers. That's what we're going to talk about. We'll talk. We will get into that. We will get into that in the future.
No, I'm pretty sure that Witching Hour was.
Okay. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll say yeah. But I will say the first time I read that through, it fucking sucked because I had no clue what the fuck was going on from the previous fucking issue.
But it was a weekly thing.
I disagree, but whatever. House and Powers,
it was an event, dude.
Okay.
But I get the vein that you're treading on.
How can it be weekly when Wonder Woman and Justice League Dark was a monthly book?
Because it came out in October. It was Wonder Woman, Justice League Dark started it off. Then it was Wonder Woman. Then it was Justice League Dark. Then it was another Wonder Woman. Then it was the conclusion of it. Or there was one more in there. I'm pretty sure all of that came out in October.
No.
Each week was a new thing.
Okay, well, we'll look back at that. Regardless, let's fucking throw that off the table.
You want to do our sidebar for us?
No.
Witching Hour?
No. House and Powers weekly.
That was a solid
no. I don't want to do it. Let's just fucking focus at the task at hand. House and Powers. This is what we're here this week to fucking talk about. This is what we're going to talk about.
All right,
fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. Pick any monthly fucking book and tell me you fucking know what's going on from the previous fucking issue. Even fucking let's fucking throw out fucking Doomsday Clock. I gotta wait fucking 3 months for the motherfucker. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
But you had said monthly. And then you're like, and then your example is Doomsday Clock, which is notoriously for being on time. Like that, every fucking date that they have said Doomsday Clock is going to come out on, it has come out on.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 2
is how many months it took for the next Doomsday Clock to come out.
Or how many drinks I had, and I don't fucking care. Like, this is what I'm saying. the fact that it came out weekly, 12 fucking weeks in a row.
No, that's exquisite. That's awesome. I totally think that that's how comics should be released.
Loved it.
And I'm totally down with it as long as, like... So, like, the thing I have right now with events is Carnage. I'm reading Absolute Carnage. It's this big event.
I'm behind on it because I'm reading his issues, so...
Yeah, and I haven't hooked him up because I got salty about orders of this stuff because it, like, as with House and Powers, it was each month one issue of the story came out. The events in Marvel, like, this is the only event that I have seen that has been done correctly, where it is...
Plus side, folks. Plus side.
Plus side.
He's giving it a plus. Otherwise, other than that, he says, fuck it.
Yeah.
Continue.
It's a terrible read. I highly discourage you from picking it up at any point in your existence. But no, like the week by week thing, like that's how all manga is read. It's always
Correct.
a week by week thing.
Which is why I love Shonen Jump.
Right.
That was like 2 times a month, was it not?
I think so.
I don't remember. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But I was hardcore into that shit.
And you're the reason I got like super hardcore into manga. Was because
What?
of that Shonen Jump. No, like
What?
You
Say
introduced
what?
me-
You were Mr. fucking Japan, man.
Yeah, but like
You went there.
I didn't know some of those things existed until you like brought that Shonen Jump into what, Casey's? That was the joint.
Yeah,
that we hung
I
out at?
picked that up at fucking Walden Books. If you motherfuckers know what that is,
You're as old as us.
yeah,
Congratulations.
picked that shit up,
If
and I was
not,
like,
take a shot.
this. We got drinking games.
Yep.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I'm down with that. As a fucking podcast fueled by alcohol, I am fucking all for that. Man, I picked that shit up from Walden Books, and I could not send that fucking little fucking postcard sized subscription thing fast enough. Man, I fucking love it. All right.
I still got some of them.
Yeah, I want to say it was bi-monthly. At least. I know it wasn't weekly, but I know it was bi-monthly.
It would have been so cool if it was weekly, but the U.S. has the U.S. has a really weird distribution cycle for comics, and I it's a thing I don't get because so like this book,
Prime example.
it has hold on, let's where what's the credit page? Here we go. We got Jonathan Hickman as the writer. We have
Bomb.
R.B. Sylvia and Pepe Larraz as artists.
Wasn't familiar before,
we
but
have-
bomb.
We have Marty Gracia and David Corella as color artists.
Don't care.
We have VCs. You don't care. Dude, coloring is super important. That is what makes shit pop.
Yeah, and they made this book
Like,
pop.
like this.
Okay, all right. Let me rephrase that. The cover doesn't matter, dude. They didn't color all the covers. They colored the book. The covers are done by the fucking whatever variant you got. What do you got here? Let me see. Let me see this. I'm reading it.
It's not a variant.
00611. So he got the original cover. Okay, I'll give you that. I don't know that they necessarily drew and colored it though, because that is usually a different credit. I got 00621, which means that is the second variant.
All right, so hold on.
First print.
Cover artists on this one are R.B. Sylvia and Marty Gracia.
Don't know.
Which is two of the people that are actually doing the line art and coloring of the main book.
Well, you got the first variant, so that makes sense.
That's what I have in front of me is the first variant.
Okay, let me take a look
So
at
now
it.
Jeremy's going to take out his issue. He doesn't have the cool Scuddy Young version in front of him.
I'm still waiting for that. That's going to come on Tuesday.
Because Midtown has like weird fucking shipping issues, and if anyone knows why.
Oh,
it'd be
wow.
interesting
I got
to-
RB Sylvia and Marte Gracia as well.
Which would be the artists and the colorists that are doing the main art.
Okay, you know what? Fuck it.
And then you actually have a list of the variant artists. You've got Mike Huddleston, Javier Guerrera, Raquel Rosenberg, Dustin Weaver, Cafu, Jesus, Abrutov, John Tyler, Christopher.
Well, then maybe that's one of mine.
Jesus Christ, I don't know what that word is. Sorry, names.
Where'd you leave off?
Right here.
Cafu
No.
and
The-
Jesus, John.
The G one.
Oh. I'm going to say Gasupe, Camalui, and Scotty Young. Okay, so if you got the first one, RB Silva and Marte Gracia, I'm going to guess I got the Mike Huddleston.
No. I think the variant artists, like this variant, because this is shop variant, not like distribution variant.
No. This is the second one.
I don't
This
know.
is 00621, dude. That's going to be the second.
It looks the same. It doesn't look that crazy. I
I'm
don't
going
know.
to say it's Mike.
When I go to like comic shops, I don't really see
like
that
Mike.
many. All right. Mike for the win.
All right, you know what?
No, so like what I'm saying is like with how many people they have working on these books, I feel that it should come out a lot sooner than it does. Unless they don't properly attribute credits to people in manga.
But this was
'Cause-
weekly. You want it sooner than weekly.
But
You want daily?
I prefer daily, yeah. But
I'm pretty sure
that's-
I would be
that was-
broke and probably be on foreclosure on my house. Just kidding. I wouldn't do that.
not kidding.
Oh no, that's the laughs over here.
Anyway, so the point was with
Yeah,
with the manga. So you've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You've got 7 people working on this one book that we have in front of you, which I guarantee they had this entire thing finished prior to releasing. They weren't trying to crunch.
You think
Get
so?
this in. Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Because if they were trying to get it in within the deadline, you would have had delays, just like with Doomsday Clock and with Sandman Preludes or not whatever it was, Overture.
The previous.
Yeah. Call back if you remember. Take a shot. Like you got 7 fucking people working on it, and in manga you've got one dude doing the art, the story, the writing, the screen toning, like all those things, and they do it week by week by week by week. Sure, they don't have a life
And
outside of work.
You know, you and I have discussed this in many car rides to many comic shops. You hate Western comics based on that, based on the fact that we cannot produce, and I say we as Americans cannot produce to the fucking level that other people can. And I don't disagree with you. I personally don't care, but at the same time, like, I'm starting to care.
Right.
And I gotta say that's a turning point for me, because like, and this is something I mentioned to you and you laughed. I'm like, dude, this House and Powers is nice every week. And
you get the story that you're invested in.
Even the shipping, like, because I'm behind, like, it doesn't matter, because basically every week I'm reading the next part of the story and I know what's going on. And you're just like, yeah, go to Japan. They fucking do this day in and day out, and to a higher level. To your point, now I
don't know if it's a higher level because
I don't necessarily agree because manga is a lot. I don't want to say
shortcuts.
Yeah, I don't want to say simpler, but like reading, for example, One Punch Man. To produce that weekly, I don't necessarily feel that it's out of the realm of doability based on what it is. Now, you've got me into some other shit like Gantz, and I'm just like,
oh, Gantz, they use
mind
a lot of
fucking
3D
blown
modeling.
No. Not even the art. Not even the art. Just the story. The fact that somebody could fucking write this week by week, and like you could argue,
That one might be monthly.
Okay. You could argue that some of this shit, they've written fucking years ahead. I'll even give them the benefit of the doubt on years ahead. Like maybe they're 12 months ahead on shit. I get it, but like, I don't know. House and Powers was something to me that from a weekly event standpoint, and like, I don't necessarily know that it was an event.
What this was?
I mean, was it?
Well, yeah, it's an event for the X-Men. I mean, it's leading up to everything that's going to come out. Like this was all. It was an event in the sense that it was re-establishing continuity. It was putting continuity into a context for what the next phase of the story is going to be.
And we're not even going to get into continuity tonight.
Not tonight, no.
But
that's what this entire thing was, just so you know. It was all
I agree. That is why you had to have all those fucking interludes, which is why I fucking liked it. This is something resetting everything. If you look at it for what it is, and I get it. I got to the end of Powers of X number 6, and Magneto's fucking what does he say?
Right there at the end.
Yep.
Oh, that's Xavier says yes. Let them try. Xavier says, or Magneto says, I am not ashamed of what I am. Let them try to stop us this time. Boom. Which I think should have been a full page fucking thing of him standing there.
Yep.
Being like, come on, motherfuckers, bring it on.
But that last page turn.
It's a good turn.
Yep. And I get it. If you look at it from the standpoint of what did this story do to move us forward? It did nothing. But if you look at it from what did it establish? It fucking reset everything.
Well, no, it did move everything forward.
Okay, so
but it also
clearly you and I disagree on shit on that part. Like, I get that.
I was waiting for the antagonist to show up because this entire thing,
it's not going to.
The thing is, like, I didn't realize that this was just going to be pretty much a story building up to the relaunch of the X-Men as a franchise entirely based on what they're dropping now. I was expecting this to have a conclusion, an end. I was waiting for the big climactic battle, which happened in number 3 when I don't remember which number 3, when Wolverine, Cyclops, Miss Marvel, and like a couple other people went into space, and they were on top of the Sentinel.
Miss Marvel, Jean Grey.
Yeah, Jean Grey, and Mystique was there, and everybody died, and it was all boo hoo hoo until the realization that we can just resurrect people because we got golden balls here.
Okay, so okay, hold on. It's more than just golden balls, number 1.
Yeah, there's 3 other people there.
Number 2,
but for you, the golden balls is the most important. Is integral to your point. He
was in other books that I read, and I'm just like, what the fuck? He does nothing. Okay. What did you think of the resurrection shit? Because to me, this is the first time And maybe I'm wrong. You want to call me out? You fucking call me out. You fucking tweet the shit. You email us at whatever. I don't fucking care. What did
Canrant at
you...
gmail.com.
Thank you. Or what was our Twitter?
It's 2_can.
The number 2 or the word?
The word 2, so TWO_CAN. With the at symbol in front of it, if people need to remember that.
Or look up Can Rant.
We don't twit too much because we're Luddites.
Look up Can Rant. I don't fuck care. What did you think of the resurrection shit? This is the first time. Sorry, you can answer in a
I will
second.
ask you a question and then cut you off.
This is the first time that I can remember in comics that actually explains how these fucking people keep fucking living.
Do you think we need to get Jeremy a shot collar?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For those of you that can't hear, somebody just asked me if we should get me a shot collar, so I shut the fuck up.
Or just let you know when you're...
Kind of think we should.
It would be it would be a good drinking game. every time Jeremy gets shocked, take a shot.
What do you think?
What was that?
Hold on. What do you think of the fact that they actually explained how these fucking mutants keep coming back to life?
All right. So it was very interesting. The thing is that you're saying that you do not like continuity, yet the crux of one of the things that you really like is the fact that they're able to explain why past things occurred and why current things are happening in the way they are. Like, sure, Logan dies a fuck ton. Everyone in comics dies a fuck ton. Death is a joke in comics. You kill off a major character, you know they're gonna be back. You know they're going to be back in like a couple months. It's not even like it's not a guarantee. Death has no holes in this thing.
I agree.
It's comics.
Yep.
But their explanation, which seems to be like a thing that is occurring quite regularly now in current day comics, is trying to figure out how all of these continuities are still the same yet very different at the same time.
I agree.
Like your whole metaverse.
Yep.
Metaverses, which is what Doomsday Clock is.
Or the multiple universes that some people or some companies subscribe to.
Yeah. But I really liked that resurrection in this. Like I don't know about gold balls, but I like the fact that a no-name person like suddenly has like this really good ability. But his ability is only good when it's paired with 3 other people. So then it's not paired. But that's the thing. Like, resurrection shouldn't just be this easily contrived aspect. Like, there has to be a narrative reason for it to occur. And for there to be 4 people, like, if one of those 4 people gets killed, which I'm hoping is going to happen on later, like, suddenly,
I agree.
Suddenly this entire miracle cure for understanding everything, like for fixing everything, no longer exists, because even in these issues, like they go on a suicide squad or a suicide mission. They are the Suicide Squad.
Exactly.
But then they come back. So there is
exactly.
So then death doesn't matter, which is an issue in storytelling, which is like in some of the, like in Bleach, when I was reading Bleach, like some of the people died.
Yep.
The fans got pissed that they killed Byakuya because he was the fan favorite because he was super sexy with his fucking rose petal blade. And
sexy.
Everyone decided that they were going to stop reading it. But Walking Dead
kills people crazy
all the time. And people were super pissed. But like, here's the thing. You want there to be stakes for the characters. If there are no stakes for them, there is no reason to be invested in them in the first place. So having them have to be resurrected by 4 people is incredible because it actually adds weight to the resurrection. It's not you go talk to a flying guy in the sky and he's like, hey, guess what? We can bring everybody back.
Exactly. So my question is, have you read, I know you're way into the internet, way more than me. You come to shit with me and I'm just like, wait, what? Did you read, you got the Marvel app.
Correct.
You read Old Man Logan at all?
I have not gotten into Old Man Logan yet.
Okay. Well, I would recommend it. I really dug Old Man Logan. That's for another day. But like,
he showed up in the Edge of Venomverse.
Did he?
Yeah.
All right, well, hook it up, dude. Hook it up. I fucking I've like read some of it, like leading up to it. You have yet to give me anything. And in all fairness, I have a lot of your books that I have not read anything.
Edge of Venomverse is was something that happened in 2017. That has nothing to do with Donny Cates' current thing. This is like a really weird thing where this is the first time that Ghost Rider gets I assume it's the first time Ghost Rider gets possessed by a symbiote. Wolverine gets possessed, X-23 gets possessed.
I wonder if that's
gets possessed and Deadpool gets possessed.
I wonder if that's around the same time that the Venom showed up in Guardians of the Galaxy and he possessed some of the people. Like, I'm pretty sure
Rocket Raccoon is in there.
Yes.
And Captain America.
Oh shit, dude, you gotta hook me up with this shit.
You just gotta get the Marvel app and you can read it.
Fuck.
Mr.
Internet. Yeah, I hate.
No, man, dude, you have to get this app because you're complaining about like the art
spending
styles and
money on shit.
And this is the easiest way to have access to. I don't know. I think it's like 10K is what they're bragging when you load up the thing. I know it's 80 years.
All right. Well,
25K.
All right. Let's focus on the
25,000 fucking comics that you can
So
read.
You're saying, from what I'm hearing, like you actually dug that fucking shit. Like, to me, I was just like, holy shit. Marvel just fucking was like, this is how these people are coming back now. That has never been touched on, in my opinion, from what I've read and from what I've heard, ever.
Well, that's only within the X-Men universe. That doesn't explain.
True.
Explain all the other ones.
True.
It is like a very niche thing. And then the other thing that made it actually feasible because. So those 4 people just exist, and they can bring bodies, they can bring husks back to life.
Correct.
But they can't actually bring back the individual, which throws in like a huge thing. Because now you've got Cerebro.
Yeah. That's how I pronounce it.
Who was created by the Forger? I don't know who that guy was. I don't know if he's an X-Men or like... He's outside of the X-Men universe.
I don't know.
There's a lot of that has happened in this issue.
Yeah.
It's like there's a guy who shows up and like he's a thing like Namor, the Fishman, the knockoff version of Aquaman.
Yeah.
I did not know that he was a mutant.
Okay, so
but I had a thing with Cerebrum, but I kind of forgot. They bring back the husks. Only those 4 people can bring back the husks.
Yep.
Without Cerebrum, which adds another component.
Cerebro.
I
don't think there's an M in there. Just
okay. We'll call it Cerebro from now on, unless I lapse into M's.
Fair enough.
So without Xavier there to catalog the mutants' fucking psyche,
which is almost like
those people.
Let's say it's a backup file for what that human or what that mutant. Sorry, not human. Mutant knows, feels, etc.
Yeah. Without that, it's just flesh. It's not anything.
And I would just like to say this is why I went back and read X-Force. Okay, so like
because of X-Men? Because of House and Bowers?
Because of House and Powers.
They get you to read bad shit. Oh, Hickman, you failed us.
Wow. Wow, that hurts. That hurts. Excuse me. I've heard a lot of fucking bad talk about Cy Spurrier. It's just fine. I'm good with that. Some of his shit fucking blows. I get it.
Well, no, I think
House and Powers. So, like, again, you read a lot about. Okay, let's preface this. You are like the internet king, and I am like, yeah. So, me, Jeremy, fucking decide to read CBR because that's what I go to. Because I hear Bleeding Cool sucks. Even though you sent me some links to Bleeding Cool last week, and I'm like, oh, I kind of like Bleeding Cool.
Well, no, they're just outlets, and the writers on both sides have pluses and minuses.
Yeah, I mean that buy and meh and don't buy pile dude fucking sucks dick. Like, all that aside, I read a CBR article about the House issue where they were talking about, basically they laid out everything in that issue about the resurrection. Let's call it that. Resurrection of superheroes.
That was on CBR?
Yeah, I read there was an article on CBR about it, and they're like, oh yeah, they already did that in X-Force. Cy Spurrier's run of X-Force number 1 through 15. Okay.
Was it the same? Was it as spectacular or make as much sense? Because I didn't get to that part.
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say. Like, they said that, and I was like, I fucking bought X-Force during that time. I think I have those issues. Which led to a whole downward spiral of my whole fucking comic book reading, and I'm now reading backlogs of tons of shit. But, like, let's just say I was like, well, I went in my boxes, my short boxes, upstairs, and of course it's the last box you look in. And I found X-Force number 1 through 15. I have Cy Spurrier's whole run. And I texted you, I'm like, hey, I heard about X-Force and the House issue that I had given you, and I'm like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but apparently there's something that's already been done, and it's the resurrection thing. Cable essentially he's dead, but he keeps resurrecting himself every 2 minutes a day. He has 24 hours to live. He has 2 minutes a day that he reboots himself, creates a clone, fucking sends himself out to try and figure out how he's going to save himself. Long story short. So I'm like...
And they're saying that's the same as Golden Balls?
Not Golden Balls, but just the resurrection thing. The fact that it's a husk. It's not the actual character, which I thought was kind of fucking interesting. And if you read X-Force, and I'm going to spoil shit for you.
Spoilers for all you out there.
And you, if you fucking haven't read anything from 2015, 16, 17, 18, I don't know how long it went.
It was definitely not 18. But...
So, like, Bets is kind of in love with Cable. Okay?
Well, no, she maxes on him. She masks on a husk, and the husk is like, I won't remember you in the morning. You're wasting your time.
Exactly, because he kills himself every night.
Well, no, he doesn't kill himself. Monsieur Frenchman kills him.
Well, in X-Force, but previous to that, he was killing himself, and then he fucking brought himself back to life and formed this team, and that's, you find out, like, I don't know, 6 issues in, that's what he's doing. They're not wrong. So there was the comparison drawn between the X-Force, the fact that Goldballs and his 3 other friends are bringing people back. Excuse me, I'm fucking drunk. As husks of themselves, but they're not the real thing, right?
But the differentiating point is that in House and Powers, these are the exact people that left. They are maybe missing, I don't know, the day that they died. Like
Exactly,
they're missing the
exactly,
events that
because
led up to their demise.
they haven't been uploaded into Cerebro.
But they're the same person.
So for me, that was the interesting point. That's why we got into X-Force. That's why last week's episode was all about X-Force, was because I'm going on a deep dive here, and this is so bad it's funny, because it is bad. But the idea that they are starting to fucking, and this is something that DC, Marvel, they haven't addressed. They kill characters, they bring them back. They kill characters, they know they're...
DC is addressing it in Doomsday Clock.
Okay, fair enough.
It's like the current thing to do.
Yeah.
Our continuities are so fucked up. Let's try to like bring them into a cohesive mess that makes sense to somebody.
But X-Force did it 3 years earlier. At least. I don't even know the exact runtime on the shit. I'm not going to even fucking try to look it up because it'll be a mess. All I'm saying is it's been addressed. You have these clones, quote unquote, running around. And then you get into the whole continuity thing. And shit gets crazy. I thought it was cool in House and Powers. They give gold balls. And I know I'm focusing on gold balls here, but like, his power's stupid. X-Men got stupid. And then they tried to rein it back in.
And they've done wonderfully with this run. I'm not going to give them shade for that.
You were pissed about the end, though.
Well, I'm pissed that the last 13 pages are ads in a language that I don't read. But it is a story. It is a story worth continuing. My biggest gripe at the moment is I wish that X-Force and New Mutants were not being released on the same day. Like, if this is a continuation of the entire story, which I really think that all these titles are going to fill it in.
Do a week by week?
Yeah. Like, they're going to be different, but they're going to be the overall story to a degree. And it would be awesome if all of the writers got their heads together and were like, all right, this is the story we're going to tell. Each week we're going to add a different facet, a different layer to it, but we're not going to deviate on like these really crazy tendril side quest things that makes all of the titles not cohesive.
Exactly. And that is one major complaint. And I know you were going to continue further. That is one, I got to interject. That is one major complaint I've had across all two, I guess that's kind of stupid. The two major players, DC and Marvel, like, they rein their writers in to a certain point, but yet people are doing fucking crazy ass shit. I mean, honestly, the Doomsday Clock and everything else, like, I know they're saying, like, oh, the art and all this shit, it takes time, blah, blah, blah. They're trying to work it in so it makes sense. That's why they're doing it. And they're trying to get Tom King finished, Tom King's Batman run finished.
Oh, did you hear that?
Let me throw it out there. We're DC boys. Straight up. I know you're all into Carnage right now, but like hardcore, fucking strip all this shit away. We have more DC comics than we do anything else, correct?
Except this month's poll was 3 DC to like 7 Marvel.
Because you're following the fucking Carnage thing.
Right, but
I
so
get
then-
that. I get that. Okay, let me
Then
just.
it was some independent.
We keep going back and forth from like comparing shit from Marvel to DC. We
Because
don't
the two
far.
powerhouses. houses.
I don't follow Marvel enough to like really comment on anything because like I have Guardians of the Galaxy and this X-Men House and Powers of X. That is what I'm doing right now, and I'm trying to like kind of backfill shit. Throw that all aside. I forgot what I was saying.
Bruh.
The books right now, when they do these events, they have these events. And I'm going to relate it to something that I've read recently and I'm following, like this whole metal, this whole Year of the Villain, this whole Leviathan thing. I'm going back to DC. I realize that they all have these stories and like all these books are trying to put their 2 cents in, but at the same time they want to do their own shit. And it detracts from the event. My opinion. When they did metal, I feel like there was a lot of buy-in from that. I don't know why that was different from everything else they did, but like I've read X-Men. They had that Omega event. They had the fucking monetary event. Like, I don't even fucking know what else. And, like, everything was like, X-Men. Oh, we're going to sprinkle this in and then we're going to go back to our shit. And if you don't fucking buy 20 fucking books to follow the fucking thing, you don't even know what the fuck happened. Even if you buy the main event books. I don't know if Cult of Carnage is any different. I don't know if... I'll say this. Witching Hour, Drowning Earth. If you didn't buy all the other books that went into that shit, and Drowning Earth fucking sucked balls. If you didn't buy all the other books, you had no clue what was going on. And it pisses me off. These companies come out and they're like, all you gotta do is follow this. You don't have to buy all the other books. That's bullshit.
Well, see, with Absolute Carnage, like, I have been buying all the books. The issue that I've run into with it is that some of the books, like, are nothing, like, to do with the entire event. I mean, they're decent stories, but the main one was the Spirit of Vengeance one, where they decided to have a random ghostwriter who I've never heard about, like, battle Carnage, and then have her essence be sucked away to go into the Ghost Rider event that is coming out, because they're, like, rebooting it.
Well, and that's what Go ahead, sorry.
And I've read that the Avengers versus Carnage is like a filler and bullshit, but in the end of Absolute Carnage, they made it seem like it was going to be this epic fucking brawl. It was going to be Hulk, Captain America, and Wolverine fighting Carnage. How is that going to be a bad issue? But the reviews that I read on Comic Book Roundup, they gave it like a 2 out of 10. Like, this is a filler. Like, there's no reason to buy it.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, these companies, they fucking release these big events and, like, they don't... I want to say they don't have the buy-in, but at the same time, would the editors not be like, what are you doing? This has nothing to do with anything that's going on. Like, there is not a cohesive example of anything. Like, even metal, like, you really have to, and I love DC, you really have to fucking go around with shit and fucking figure it out. The House and Powers, I gotta say, the fact that it is like a self-contained 12-issue event, it's not bringing in the Avengers, it's not fucking doing anything else with the Marvel.
They did show up.
They did.
In number 5, which I was kind of appreciative about.
I'm just saying, like, if you're going to have an event, editors, fucking CEOs, whatever you do, fucking force your people into the shit. Like, the fact that you fucking brought up that fucking... They're going to fucking give that a 2 out of 5 or 10 or whatever. It just... it leads me to believe that everybody's got their own shit going on, and the writer is not willing to concede to the overall arcing story. And really, at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, I don't know if it's like the writer doesn't want to concede to it. It's just like in some of those Absolute Carnage things, it was just like, we gotta tell this aspect of the story, so let's quickly whip out something that will fill the void that makes it make a little bit more sense. But then the thing that's like really confusing is that separation anxiety. That awesome one, that cover that you got, like, that is one of the best comics I have read. And it's just a tie-in to an overall story. And it, like, that character, like, if you don't read that, like, you'll understand what's going on within, like, the overall thing. Like, all right, cool, there's another symbiote that has, like, abducted some people and is now doing stuff. You don't need to know their story. But the one story that set them up, like, is primo fucking horror telling stories.
Yep.
So, like, you got these events, you got all these books, and 90% of them are just going to be trash, which they don't need to be. Like, they could work it in to make it make sense, but they're maybe just spreading themselves too thin, where, like, they're trying to fill all the little, like, holes.
Totally
Instead of going, like, all right, so, like I would have been cool if Absolute Carnage, instead of being a 3-month event, would have been a 6-month event. I would have been totally cool with buying one dedicated book to the overall story every single week for 6 months. Insofar as it continued the overall story without, like, having me go back to fill in, like, plot points because their scheduling issue, like, their scheduling was, like, incorrect.
Exactly.
Because I'm willing to purchase fucking books if the storytelling is good. And the thing is, it sucks when I have to buy books to fill in the story and they suck and they're nothing.
And I gotta say, that is the one, I know you probably disagree because of the end, but, like, I really liked House and Powers of X for that. It was a self-contained thing.
Well, no, what pisses me off about House and X is, like, it's got a really good story going on. My issue, whilst I was driving over here, was, like, there is no antagonist in this book. The only antagonist is this parallax thing.
Yeah.
I was like, and I was assuming that this thing would have some closure to it, not that it would be an open-ended thing for what is coming up next.
And you knew that, well, I don't know about you, but I knew in the back of my head, like, they're not gonna fucking conclude this shit. If they did, there'd be nothing left.
Well, if they didn't spend 13 pages with ads at the end, they could have.
I don't agree.
Nah, they could have wrapped it up. They could have wrapped. All right, so, like, what's her name? Moira dies, like, page, like, halfway through this issue, right?
Okay.
It could have been rearranged that this was the last page of the story.
Agreed.
And then it would have set up. Like, you could have had the parallel.
Everything going forward. Dawn of X. The whole fucking thing, X-Men, X-Force, fucking Marauders, fucking everything else, I agree. Yeah. I read that page, fucking Wolverine, spoiler alert, stabbing Moira through the fucking gun.
Mic down, take a shot. It's number 2.
Moira.
You gotta not pound the fucking table, mate.
Yeah, I know. I'm passionate. Wolverine stabbing Moira through the fucking gut, killing her. Boom.
No, because imagine how much more impactful this issue would have been if it would have been like, if the conversations between Moira, Xavier, and Magneto would have been while they're going to this last 5 pages. If this would have been sprinkled out throughout Moira and Wolverine talking to fucking Blue Man, who I don't know who that is. Whilst Parallax is coming, he's having his conundrum do I let you go or do I kill you? While the fucking entity of destruction is coming. And then the last page is fucking Moira getting stabbed. That would have been a perfect lead up, a perfect end. But instead they did it ass backwards.
Because
there was no climax in this.
No.
Which is what a good story does.
Exactly.
It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is
the only defense I can give it, because I really dug it, was it's gonna continue on into all these books, and now you gotta buy all that shit, which I'm conflicted about.
Well, no, the story is super cool, but as the prelude, you still have to adhere to rules of storytelling.
Yeah.
I mean, it is written beautifully. I was enthralled and engrossed and entangled with every single word, every single panel. Except I think there was something in one of them, the faces got weird. Emma Frost has weird faces when she's talking to Xavier when they're discussing the council seats. That tore me out of the book. But even the interludes, the word drops,
it's all setting
good
up to this other shit.
Yeah.
And that is, I don't know, man, that is one of the things Western comics, they gotta have that set up, for the next fucking thing. They gotta leave it open. Everything's open-ended, dude. There is no definitive end to anything.
Which I think would be a good topic for another cast.
I agree.
Alright, so you doing the outro?
Can Rant, coming to you, 2019. That's all I got. I don't know. You got a fucking thing. You don't have a Q thing.
You don't have it memorized? Alright.
Alright, feather fluffers. We're just 2 Can Rants.
2 toucans.
Oh, okay. So 2 toucans.
2 cans.
2 toucans with 2 tall cans.
Who can rant?
Who can rant?
Because we got 2 tall cans.
Because we got 2 tall cans. Yeah.
Peace out, mother fluffers.
On a side note, we need some intro and outro music, huh?
Yeah, somebody should get their ass on that.
Yeah, I'm
Get
working
out your
on
guitar.
it.
Get out your guitar.
Nom, 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 nom,
Strum
nom,
like a
nom,
fucking couple.
nom.
Give us a taste.
Nom. Alright.
That's gonna be an ear killer.
Whoa! I'm just saying. And because we got 2 tall cans.
Once more, for the listeners at home.